Welcome to Our Drummers Musicians. Recorded on a cozy couch in Brunswick, join us as we explore what it truly means to be a musician and speak to the diverse talents that make music in our city. I'm your host Luke, and I'm excited to be sitting down today with Toby Peterson-Stewart, an amazing bass player, creative and producer from right here in Melbourne. An accomplished bass player and artist in his own right, Toby is probably most widely known for his work with the band The Omnific. The Omnific is a breathtaking progressive instrumental trio featuring two bass players and a drummer. They create an extraordinary mosaic that dances between progressive rock, gent, funk, and synth-driven soundscapes. On the 7th of June 2024, The Omnific launched their second album, The Law of Augmenting Returns, an audacious and magnificent triumph. The album explores the notion that the more you invest in your artistry, the greater the rewards. This powerful trinity of bass and drums has fulfilled this prophecy, pushing their creative boundaries to unprecedented heights. Their 2021 debut record, Escapades, achieved significant acclaim, landing number 3 on the Australian AIR independent album charts and receiving extensive coverage from press outlets such as Metal Hammer, Guitar World, and Bass Player in the UK, as well as Bass Magazine in the US, with Prog Magazine declaring, quote, a variable masterclass in the art of the bass player. The Omnific's live shows, full of swagger, showmanship, and stellar technical performances, has left a lasting impression on audiences worldwide. The music, in Australia, put it simply, the Omnific never ceases to entice, excite, and amaze. With their musical craft truly unique and a live show unlike any other, the Omnific stands tall as the world's most prominent bass-driven instrumental rock act. Toby has extensive recording experience as well as live performances touring Australia, Europe, and the US. Toby has also performed live at NAMM, as well as gaining artist endorsements with various music companies. Toby runs a Patreon account, as well as offering private music lessons where he teaches bass to aspiring students. Toby's music's been streamed millions of times, as well as gaining tens of thousands of followers on various social media platforms. Join us today as we discuss his journey with music, what drove him to develop his technical chops, and how he established himself on a global stage as a professional bass player. We want to take a moment to acknowledge the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people of the Kulin Nation as the traditional custodians of the land on which this podcast was created. We pay our respects to their elders past and present.
Such a cool setup.
Oh, well,
I think I've always wanted to start a podcast, but I have not.
Mm-hmm.
Just always like that thing, because I think it's such a good thing. I still think about it now more consciously, actually, of getting one of my friends from Adelaide. He's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
And he always just like messages bands that he likes and goes and does guitar chats with the guitarists.
Oh, cool.
And I'm like, because I went with him to LA recently, but I was like, I've always wanted to do that for bass, and I've definitely mentioned it to him twice, and I was like, because I know so many bass players and like some of my favorite bands, like I know these bass players and stuff, or some bands that I don't really know that well, but they're in big bands. I'm like, I could totally just chat to them. It'd be such a good opportunity just to hang with people and chat, and especially these people who are like kind of, the bands are playing big shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I haven't done that just because I think I just haven't fully committed to like, okay, I'm going to do what you're doing, man, but I'm going to do the bass version. It'd be a great idea though, because I reckon we'll end up going to the same shows all the time.
Yeah.
Because he comes to Melbourne sometimes to do it. But
That'd be awesome.
But I don't know. I just haven't done it yet. But I've thought about it. It'd just be nice.
Yeah.
Because so many bass players, because their band plays such bass-centric music, and sometimes bass players in like big metal bands don't, they're not like really technical bass players.
Yes.
So they kind of appreciate our music and they kind of understand who we are. But they're super, super lovely.
Yeah,
but there's
right.
some of the really good bands and stuff. We went backstage to the Evanescence show because the Evanescence bass player knows our band.
Okay.
Which is just crazy,
That's
right?
wild. Yeah.
Like, she's not like the original bass player, because the original bass player was the guy who did the screaming and Bring Me to Life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure.
But she's been in there for like quite a few years now, and it's like just crazy, that kind of stuff. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's my closest podcast kind of dreams.
I reckon you should get on it. Like, I would. Yeah. I'm one of the people that would like sit on an idea for ages and not do it. And I was trying a bunch of different creative things to like help spend the time. And then, like painting and drawing and some like clay sculpting and stuff for a bit. And I had a friend that I was talking to, and I was like, oh, I thought maybe I should start it. And he was like, let's do it next week. And then anyway, he ended up pulling out, and another person ended up like pulling out that I spoke to afterwards. And I was like, well, screw it. I may as well just start it and I'll learn on the go. And
Yeah.
it's like not like me at all. I would like to like plan it all out and like have a really like slick editing process and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm like, all right, no, let's just like do it. We'll make it raw and we're learning on the go.
Sick. I like it. Yeah. I do the same thing. Sometimes, exact same process. It's like you either pre-plan it forever and then eventually it happens, or you just go into it. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Really, but
yeah,
I probably should do something like that, to be honest. I don't know why I don't, because bands are always touring and I can always just hit up bands. Like it's literally an ongoing thing. But yeah.
I had one person give me the idea of like trying to like tee up some like green room chats or something.
Yeah.
Because I've got like a Zoom H6 or something.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you could just like, check a 58 on it and
dude, easily,
like, walk around and just like say, oh, tee it up with them beforehand. Can I have 15 minutes to chat about it, like pre or post gig or whatever? And I'm sure you could do something like that where like you're already like meeting up and hanging out. So
yeah, I mean, it's honestly, I reckon the benefit of it would be that I could have a reason to go hang out.
Yeah.
Because my biggest thing about going to shows, sometimes I'm like, I'm just here to hang, but like, I don't have a job, so I'm like, hey, like, I don't want to get in your way. So one of my friends' bands, I go to a lot of their shows, and half the time I'm just like, I don't want to get in the way, but my manager said to come, and I just am hanging around, and you guys do your thing. I don't want to like just steal your green room shit and that, or whatever.
Nice.
Anyway.
What does it feel like you're just, so deep in the bass scene that like...
I feel like, I'm pretty deep in it, to be honest. In like the metal bass scene for sure.
Yeah.
Because, I feel like it'd be pretty easy.
Did you see like that this is where it was going? Because like when you're at uni, I know that you were playing with the band, but you were doing so many different things, whereas now it's like... it's quite amazing, like what you've built.
Oh, thanks. Honestly, like, well, so to give the full backstory of what's happening for me right now is that 2 or 3 months ago, I think almost 3 months now, I actually quit my job to teach bass full time. So I've always worked this IT job. I didn't study IT. It was like a step uncle's company. I've worked there on the side ever since uni.
Okay.
For 6 years. It was like I always did it part time and then had a day to do music stuff and did music stuff on the weekends and after work. But 3 months ago, I was like, I need to get out of this because it's just killing me. It's fine, but it's just fine. And I just need to see if I can do it. I'm living at home now again because I went through a breakup last year, almost 10 months ago. And I was like, I had to move back home. And then I was like, I just need to, and then I went on tour for like 2 months. So I was like, I had a huge perspective of like, I need to change that. So now I'm just like teaching online from what the band's built and what I've built online. Just by trying to rotate that. I think I'm looking for something more long term eventually, like in 5 years, but for now this is cool because I'm really just like week to week kind of vibe of like rotating students. But but that's like what I'm doing now. So in terms of what I've built, like that's kind of like took me 10 years or 8 years to be like, okay, now I can do this full time, even though it's like such like a wild full time kind of thing because it's literally I'm not working for anybody. It's kind of crazy. It's all just like the lessons or the Patreon or my or like doing product demos. But the product demos is like you get like one every 2 months.
Okay.
But it still like works. But so it's all completely new, and I don't feel secure at all. But it's like I'm earning enough, but I don't feel secure.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think that's for musicians in general, to be honest.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. But that's I didn't know that it was gonna do all that.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah. In terms of what I've built, that's what feels like I can do this now full time, which is crazy.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I think it shows, I don't know, the hard work is like paying off.
Yeah, I mean, we've worked so hard for so many years. Like I feel like I'm more chilling now, even though I'm just in a different phase of working hard. But we worked freaking hard just for, just trying to make a really, really good record. Just that kind of work was like, look back at that, I'm like, damn. Because all the learning process, it's like, damn, we've put in so many hours. It's just a ridiculous amount of hours recording it, mixing it, all that stuff. But
yeah.
Anyway,
well, and like all of your like bass chops and stuff too. Like it's a lifetime's worth of work you've put in, and
it's a lot of work.
Like,
but it's still like I've still so many things I suck at. Like I don't think. I think I can still be so much better in so many ways. Everyone does, but it's like I never think about like how good how good I am at bass. That's not like an achievement. That's just like I just am that, or like I am just that's just how I play bass. Or same with I don't know, just any musician. But whatever. I don't know. I didn't think about that aspect. That's funny.
Well, I was just like I scrolled through like some of your Instagram comments.
Yeah.
When you texted saying that you're on your way, and like it's literally just like people's minds being blown.
Yeah, it's very sweet. But sometimes I'm like, whatever. I try to not read that stuff, to be honest. I honestly don't, because it's just like, you do read it, you do like check numbers, but you try not. Because if you do it all the time, it's like, it's like say a video gets stuck into the algorithm, like gets like, you know, however many views, and then your next one gets like 10% of that. Mm-hmm. So if you keep monitoring it too closely, it's like jarring.
Yes.
Or whatever. Or it's just exhausting. But I do check it. But yeah, I try and just like see what my friends comment, and then I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't look too in depth, because it's usually just people saying that, or someone saying something about my painted nails now. It's happened ever since I started posting more and more TikToks. I posted TikToks nonstop for 2 weeks straight, like every day. And then I just I was like, why is everyone commenting on my nails now? I've had these nails for ages, and like all of a sudden, like the more people that see the videos, the more people comment on the nails. It's just hilarious. Like it's nails or whatever. Anyway.
Oh yeah. What a like side tangent from the base content of the videos.
It's just funny. Just give them the same answer to my grandma when she says that. I'm like, just cause, man. Grandma's always like, but why? Anyway.
Well, mate, this is the podcast.
Sick.
Just chatting.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to give me the rundown on the vibe, or
like this is the vibe?
Sick.
Yeah, like there's a bathroom at the end. There's a corridor if you need it. I'm not really doing any editing. It's just a live chat.
Sick.
But if there's anything like you want in or out, I'll take it out.
Yeah, that's cool.
Easy. But yeah, the vibe is just let's just have a chat for like 45 minutes.
Sick. Yeah.
And
easy.
Yeah, it's just nice to see you after so long. Like,
yeah, man.
I feel like because I see things that you're posting, like there's still like some kind of connection, and then I'm like, oh, hang on, it's been like 6 years or something since I've actually seen you.
Yeah, that happens in, I don't know. I was gonna say that happens in your 20s, but I don't know. I'm just assuming so, because so many people are in the same boat. Like, yeah, some people I've not seen for years. But yeah, same, man, same. Well, are you making much music at the moment, or just kind of chilling?
Not really. Yeah, I'm doing like a little bit of session drumming here and there with a few little artists. Sick. So like, I was playing a bit for my sister's band Sydney.
Yeah.
And I've just been recording this like sort of folk rock album EP for Whiskey or Honey Day.
Sick.
So it's nice having. I quite like the like come in and do a session thing, because I don't have the time and energy to commit to like a band. But I can like come in and play for an hour and take a break and then do another hour or something like that.
Yeah.
Because the actual like drumming part I can still do quite well. It's just like, but if I've got to carry my drums, or like, if I've got to play something technical, like I did a recording session maybe 6 months ago or something, and they were like, oh, can we do this song in 7? And I just couldn't play it. And it was really frustrating, because I was like, oh, I'm losing like that bit. Yeah. But then we could play like some other stuff that was just in 4/4, and I was like, great, I'm not thinking about it, I'm just able to play.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Honestly, that's my goal whenever I play music now anyways, to not think about it.
Right?
I don't want to think about it anymore. I'm teaching, so I think about it in that way, but like, I don't think about it. That's what I tell my students. I'm just like, just feel it, whatever.
Yeah.
You can play in 15, 16, but just don't think about it.
Right, if you're just sitting there like counting it, like you're not making great music. You're just
it's because it doesn't really matter. It's just whatever it feels like. That's the grown up way of saying it. Just whatever it feels good. Whatever feels good.
So you're enjoying doing teaching now?
Yeah, I think I am. It's just like the job insecurity, I guess, of it is the only thing. I'm like, oh, like, you know, we go on tour in the end of July. It's only 3.5 weeks, but it's just still like the week to week.
Yep.
I'm like, I want to boost it up. Like, I'd love to have like an extra 5 students a week. It's still manageable, but that's just really for my security. But yeah, teaching's been great. When I was at uni, I couldn't teach because you're so overwhelmed with information, and you're just like, you can't like get it out. You can't articulate it or verbalize what you're trying to do. But now it's like, even just doing it for probably like 4 months now, because I did a little bit before I transitioned out of work. But yeah, it's just easier because now, especially with ones you've had for a bit or just even new ones, you can kind of just swing with it. Like I haven't actually made new exercises in a little while, just because my students know the band and I kind of know what would hopefully excite them, or they know what would excite them.
Yes.
You just swing with it rather than like kids or something like that. Yeah, you can just like, so what do you want to learn today? I've got this, we can continue with this, or I can show you this, or like, is there anything that's been on your mind for the past week that you're like, I really want to learn how to tap? Or one of the students this morning was wanting to bend. Like I didn't have any prep going into any of the lessons today. I had 3 this morning, but it's just like, the prep's already there from, I think, like you said, the hard work.
Yeah.
Because I just showed them at one of our songs. I'm like, this is a great exercise for bending.
Oh, cool.
Because he hasn't approached bending before. And I'm like, well, this is great because you have to bend for half of it. And then I can show you how to do it. And then you can just learn it and do it. And then it's fun for them because it's a song. But yeah. But otherwise, you'd have to like hunt for all these specific bass exercises. But I think we've just made them. I've made a bunch, but like, half of it is the songs, really.
Yeah, sure.
Unless they're not at that level, and then I have to like, I made the ground level, I think, but
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
So what was your journey, I guess, to like getting to where you are now, like chops wise? Like, you know, where did the very beginning of it start for you?
For me, I don't know. I think when the band started, like, we started writing hard stuff, and you had like a friend who was good at bass, and so he wrote something hard and I would have to learn it, and then I'd be at a show and everybody would hear every single note that I play.
Yep.
And that was a huge like hurdle to get over, because I was like, oh god, everyone can hear what I can play, and the whole safety of being a bass player is no one could really hear enough.
Interesting.
So like that, when I was younger, it was like, oh, no one can really hear, so it was a massive sense of like calmness about that, I guess, of being like, it's chill, it's fine. But then I played in this band, I started getting anxious. I was like, everyone can hear everything I play, and I had to get over that. It took me years to get over that, 100%, to be more comfortable, and then to get more comfortable was I had to get better.
Yep. Mentally
and technically, because you can be really, really good, but if you have no confidence, then it's just like you can never do the thing in the moment, which I think is probably my biggest thing that I've had to conquer, is like just being more confident with it. Because I don't think like I'm like a really good bass player, but I know other people who they have that very specific, like, I'm fucking great.
Right.
I'm great at playing bass. Like, I'm one of the best in the world kind of vibe. They could be, but their confidence also helps them with that. But I just can't think like that, because even some of my students can do stuff that I can't do. I don't tell them that. I don't tell them like, yeah, I can't do that that you're doing right now. Like, only a couple of them are like, I'm like, yeah, I want to learn how to do that from like what they do, because some of them are good. But yeah, I just don't have that mentality, so that kind of confidence thing. But the band helped, because it's, you're in everyone's face, you're playing hard stuff, you have to learn it. There's an objective of writing an album, writing new songs, and then it's like, that's like I was telling my student this morning, like, that's a really huge motivator, is because you got to play the song good on stage, or you got to do it for an Instagram video, or you got to write a good song. And if the bass is the only instrument, the bass has to be hard, like in that style at least, because if it's not hard, it's not engaging. Not technical for the sake of being technical, that's definitely not what it is. It's just being engaging. But I think my stuff is less hard nowadays. I think
like it's less hard for you to do, or the things that you're doing are like less technically difficult?
Oh, it's probably just as technical. It's probably because it's easier for me now, because I've done all the hard stuff and now it's easier. But it's less, or at least the mentality is less like, how hard can I make this? Which wasn't a lot of the mentality, is always engagement focused, but rather than technical focused. But yeah, that's really, I think that's what helped the band.
That's so interesting, because it's like the two of you like pushing each other constantly to like go further and further.
Yeah, and we still do that now, because now sometimes like there's so many notes, so if someone has to play something that's really hard and I don't have to play, I'm not going to learn it. Or if he has to, sometimes you do, but like, for example, there's one very specific thing, like I do a lot of like the thumping, slappy kind of stuff. He does too, but he's kind of like, oh, can you record that part, or can you like do your thing to this part, if he has an idea. And I'll do that because I do that way more. That's more my thing. And then he's really good at doing like 3-finger kind of stuff or finger style kind of stuff. And sometimes he'll do like a 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 with his fingers like this, string skipping and everything. I can't do that. Like I could figure it out, but I'm like, I don't have to play that part. You're playing that lead part. I'm gonna be playing the rhythm obviously because someone has to play the rhythm part. But like that's like I can't get my head around that. So there's small things like that where it's like we can't completely get to that same point, but a lot of it is in harmony. So it's like a lot of it we've had to play it the exact same way. But
wow,
yeah, because he's great. He's really good. Yeah, he thinks about music way differently than me. But yeah, having someone there to like make you better definitely made me better.
What do you mean by that? Like thinks about music differently? How do you think about music?
Mine's a lot more feel based, and just the way his brain works. He thinks about music more in, I guess, it's just like from a different starting point. I think it's a different upbringing on the way you digest music and the way you kind of think about music. Like for example, one of my favorite bands, my first ever show that I went to was like Foo Fighters.
Okay.
But for example, he doesn't like Foo Fighters.
Right.
So he doesn't understand that kind of subconscious way of thinking about music that the Foo Fighters might have.
Okay.
He probably might understand it. Maybe it's just a different place that he would have used that in his music. It's not a conscious thing, but like that's just an example.
Sure.
Like some of those origin kind of styles of songwriting or harmony is like not in his desire to make.
Sure.
Because it just doesn't resonate. So it's like that's a difference, I think. There's different approaches and stuff, but yeah, like that's probably the clearest thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask then about your origins? Like, where did it all start for you in music?
It started back when I didn't grow up being musical. No one in my family is musical that's related to me.
Okay.
Like that's alive. No one is musical. But when I was in year 5, I had to learn a musical instrument for school. The cool instrument at that time was going to be bass in year 7 that you were going to play.
Okay.
If you had already learnt it before you went to high school, then you could definitely do that instrument. Otherwise, you kind of like, there's limited spots and stuff like that. But I, what am I trying to say? I learnt it because my brother said that, but then turns out that didn't apply, and you still weren't guaranteed to get bass. So I went straight into an advanced composition class with one guitarist. Who became my best friend, and we started our first band together. So it was just me and him, and then the guy who taught it, and yeah, we grew up playing music together. He showed me all these metal bands and stuff like that. Like I took him to that Evanescence show I was talking about, because our first band was like ripping off Evanescence when we were in like year 7.
Okay.
So it was crazy. So Amy Lee was like over there. I didn't speak to her, but I was like, oh, like that's crazy, man. But it was like an accident of that. But yeah, like I was definitely tone deaf when I was 12 and 13. But I just kind of, it's like the same when you kind of hear things more, your ear gets better. It was that, but from literally like I reckon 0.
Wow.
But I think as soon as I started getting it, I started getting how songs worked at a younger age, rather than like not understanding what makes sense, like with harmony or what makes a song a song, I guess. I don't know. That made sense earlier on, but I definitely didn't know the difference between like a D and an E. I couldn't tell you, no idea, but kids don't really know anyway, I guess. Unless they're really advanced, but I had no idea. I just wasn't born with it or whatever.
So where did it go then from there? Like, did you just get excited by it? Like, as you got to play with your mates at school and like hear new music, the passion sort of grew?
Yeah, I literally, again, I tell students about this, but when I used to play video games, like, when I was younger, and then I hit an age and I just stopped playing video games because I just thought I was just supposed to write music all the time. So every time we went on holidays, I took a guitar and my computer to write music, like on every holiday. Like we went to like the Outback in Australia, and I brought my guitar. This is a normal thing to do, but brought my guitar and brought my laptop, but it was so I could songwrite. It was always songwriting.
Wow. So
all my holidays, like even we went away on like Easter and stuff like that for 2 weeks. I'd bring my guitar, be playing my guitar pretty much the whole day. Like I remember I used to go for like a run, come back, like write music for like 5 hours. Then maybe we'd go down to the beach or something, but like writing music was always the goal throughout all of my like childhood, which is insane, or like high school childhood, which is just ridiculous. So now when I'm trying to chill out, it's been an active, conscious effort to be like, don't just write music. You have to like not, even though I love doing that. Now I'm like, oh, I want to write more music because I'm doing so much other stuff. But literally just my whole upbringing was, for some reason, I just thought I had to write music all the time because it just made sense.
Wow.
And that's all I wanted to do. Even, down at the beach house. Just writing songs like the whole time. Didn't go down to the beach. Be in a bunk bed. It would be like this tall and I'd be completely crouched over with the guitar in my hand, like on the computer, like writing out this music like for hours. Yeah.
So are we talking like instrumental music or?
Yeah, I never gravitated towards vocals.
Okay.
I still don't know like some lyrics. Sometimes I have to look up the lyrics, or I gravitate towards melody, but not like, yeah, I wish I could do vocals or just sing. I think I could. I've always thought about getting vocal lessons, but it's always been very instrumental based. Like, yeah, again, like the Foo Fighters kind of thing. If you're listening to a Foo Fighters song, there's so many elements that make that song a song, even though you could say it's really simple, but I guess all those kind of foundational things, including the vocal melody, would be what I kind of, well, not really the vocal melody when I originally started learning about songwriting. It'd be everything else except for the vocals.
Interesting.
First song I wrote was definitely a rip off of The Pretender by Foo Fighters. 100%. But I wasn't thinking about the vocals. Yeah. Just the guitar patterns and stuff and drums and everything.
So what got you to do the like production course, the degree at Monash?
I got into all the other unis that I applied for, but that was the hardest one to get into.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, let me do that one, because that was the only one that like required an ATAR, and I literally like just got in. That was kind of it, really.
Okay.
I kind of wish I did do a little bit of like performance study instead, because I think that would have been really cool. So I've had to do a lot of that on my own. But I've always been recording, writing stuff since I was really young, so it made sense anyway. Like, even though a bit of that course was like more maybe EDM focused, but I still had full reign to do all my rock and metal stuff. Like I was always able to do that after like the first year when we kind of got to do what we wanted to do. Apart from like the initial like learning stuff, but yeah, I kind of wish I did do performance, but I think I've done enough performing. Not really, but I've done heaps of performing. But yeah, it would have been cool to learn about some like more pop performance stuff. Like pop contemporary. What is it? Contemporary performance course. That would have been cool, I think.
Sure.
Yeah, but I don't think I would have done jazz. I think that would have killed me. In probably a good way, because I always want to improv, but it probably would have killed me. Because that stuff does not make any sense to me still. Only a little bit.
So where did it go for you once you finished then? Like, how quickly was it that the band started to have success?
What was it? It was probably the second year of uni, I think the band started.
Okay.
Halfway through the second year, I think. Yeah. But that happened quick, because back then there wasn't a lot of instrumental progressive metal music. And it was kind of really, for lack of a better word, like hot at the time. Whereas now it's so like, a lot of music styles, it's so like dense, there's heaps of it out there. But back then there was like a bit less. And because we had a unique take on it with a 2-bass idea, it caught people's attention pretty fast. So from the start, we were kind of like, oh, people are going to like this, so we'll just do it.
Okay.
So since we started it, it was kind of like clear that this was the right move to do this band.
Cool.
Like career-wise, that was definitely like a conscious, like, we should do that. We should make this first EP and just get it out kind of as soon as we can. And then we just did that for years and didn't stop, because first year we released an EP, second year released another EP, third year we released another EP. So we kind of condensed all that into the first 3 years and just did it non-stop.
Wow.
And that's what kind of grew us really fast from the start. But we already had that kind of burst at the start. But
okay.
Yeah, I think we've been a band for 8.5 years now. So there's been time off from releasing EP after EP in the last 4 years.
Yep.
But yeah, it just made sense in the start to do it. Yeah, and it still does. Yeah, because actually at uni, that trip to go to New York,
Mm-hmm.
when I didn't go on that because I said I'm gonna go there with my music, and then we were on the last show of our last tour in Europe and America, which is back-to-back tour, 2 month, 2 day.
Yeah, you did a massive tour, 2023, right?
Yeah, and we did. It was like 40 something shows in that run.
Whew.
In that whole year, we did 71. Insane. But on that last show of the year for that band, it was in New York, and we were in Times Square, and I was like, oh, I said I would get here from playing music.
Wow.
And I was like, that really hit me. I was like, damn, this is crazy. Especially because it was the last show of the whole run.
Yeah.
And we're about to fly home in 2 days. I was like, this is insane. So, yeah, in terms of, I don't know, uni and the band, like it all is intertwined like that. Definitely towards the end of it, I was like, I'm going to go do the band.
Yep.
You know, but...
wow. Oh, how special.
Yeah, so special. I remember that. I was like, oh, it was crazy. I was telling my manager, I was like, dude, like, I just remembered this.
Yeah.
I said I'd get here. It was very special. Yeah.
Well done, man. Like, you're such an amazing bass player and musician. You're like, I guess for like people that don't know your like style of music, the easiest way for me to describe it would just be like extremely virtuosic. Would that be fair? I know you're a very humble guy, but
I mean, I think virtuoso, I used to think that was a bit corny, but I think it's the best way to describe. It's just hard stuff. Yeah. Technical stuff that, that's technical.
So how do you like balance your like passion for music and like writing with the like technical elements of what you're doing?
I think when you're writing without vocals in mind, you kind of have all the reign to fill up all the space with just the bass guitar. And so I just use that as a canvas to do whatever I want. It's a very lucky and fortunate situation, and that's why I've always loved being able to write music for this band, is because I can do literally anything. I'm not in the way of vocals, I'm not in the way of guitar. I mean, if I am in the way of anything, I write it around it anyway, but the whole focal point is the bass. So it's like I can really just kind of do that and make it as engaging as possible. And I was saying earlier, like that's the goal of writing music, in my opinion, right now, or has been in the past for me for sure, is a very conscious thing of like, I want this to be the most engaging thing that I can listen to, because if I find it engaging, other people are also going to find it engaging. So it is by making it more technical. But I guess, say, you know, you've got a song that's got vocals. The vocals are doing a lot of different inflections. If it's very simple, that's obviously a very stylistic choice, and that sometimes sounds amazing. Honestly, it sounds amazing a lot of the time. But that's a style of music, and this style of music, to add different inflections and articulations and characters, you need to do different techniques. And so you'll be jumping between a bunch of different techniques to allow it to be engaging and to allow it to be expressive. And then therefore it's just going to be technical as a nature, because you have, like, otherwise it's just going to be like low notes down there and stuff like that. But I don't think about it as too technical, because honestly, it's just octave jumping most of the time. Like, yeah, you really think about things in octave. Like, if you tap an octave all the way on the 23rd fret and then you go to the open lower string, then sometimes that's just like a seventh apart, but obviously 3 or 4 octaves apart. So it's not like technically that crazy, but it kind of appears that way if you're not familiar with it. But I'm really deep in that, so it's not. I don't think it's too complicated, because I think about, like, that's just you just play it down there, but we're just going to play it all the way up here, or something like that. Yeah. So
how important is the like visual element of it for you?
I totally realized in the last few years I don't have that much of a visual brain when it comes to music.
Okay.
Yeah, like I kind of just, I write the song and then I don't see a lot of the picture around it. Like, it just doesn't come there for me. I don't know. It's just not super in the front of my mind, unless it's really, only a couple of times it's like really like there. But honestly, man, like, it just is like, it's just the music, and then I'm like, I don't know what I see.
Yeah, interesting.
Someone might present an idea and I'm like, yeah, that looks like it. Or like, no, it doesn't look like it at all. But yeah, not super visual for some reason. Only sometimes.
So how about the like epic photograph of you in the mega bass cloak? in a castle with the moon and.
Oh, that's totally. I mean, I literally get sent that from the band right now. The whole concept of the latest record has been a lot more done by the other boys.
Okay.
Because I did take a break from the band a couple of years ago for 8 months, and then I came back into it because some family stuff happened. And since then, I've just kind of been a little bit like, been allowing them, because they wrote that record when I was out of the band for 8 months. So I've been allowing them to kind of take the creative reins, and I'll have some input if you know they need it. But for now, it's kind of like we're just chilling, and sometimes I get said something like that. I'm like, hell yeah. But yeah, the vision of that is that we're wizards, because if you see the music video, we're all like wizards playing bass, and it's just this silly,
it's very
like,
cool.
yeah, it's just like this silly like blue screen animation thing where it's all kind of done like that, but there's no like real thought behind the visualization of I'm a wizard playing bass. That's at least as far as I'm aware.
So how much do you enjoy all of the like like social media and music video and like the non-music playing but music adjacent features of your musical career?
I mean, I think you can get really sucked up into it. Like I said earlier, that you can really if you're checking your stats too often, you can get really bogged down. It's just exhausting. It's kind of like almost the definition of insanity if you're trying to look at something changing and it's not changing. So if you looked at it every 30 seconds, it's going to change by one like, maybe like something like that, maybe not, like sometimes more, sometimes less. But again, if you're looking at it that close, it just drives you nuts. So I don't like that aspect. And, sometimes when you have a video that does really well, back when I was younger, you'd have to really like, be aware of the drop after that, to be honest, like, because you'd have a video do really well and that'd make you feel great. You get a bunch of dopamine. It's like the same effect of, you're scrolling on Instagram endlessly or doom scrolling and you're getting all this dopamine. Same if you get a video that does really well. Because like, honestly, what's the point of it doing really well? If you really think about it once it dies off, because you're like, oh, but did I get these opportunities I wanted to get from a video going viral? Like, in the long run, yes, because there's so many people that I connect with now that I'm really inspired by and really look up to, and allows me for so many opportunities in a bigger picture kind of thing. But you might upload a video and you're like, oh, but I didn't get like this thing or something like that, which maybe how I thought about that when I was younger. But yeah, nowadays you kind of just got to focus on what you're making and creating and just doing that and then moving on to the next thing, which is an interesting balance, because you want to make something amazing that you think is amazing. Well, sometimes it doesn't have to be amazing, it just has to be something real. But I don't know, I'm kind of dipping my toes into it right now, talking about like the actual point of doing any of this, because you're posting to get opportunities, you're posting to expand your audience, you're posting to create something, but it's like, it's all your own choice to do it. No one's telling you to do it. That's the big thing about it. You don't have to do it every day, you don't have to do it every week, you don't have to do it every month. You're the only one that's making you do that. So it's like real, especially now it's my full-time thing of making music and teaching. It's like, where is the what are you making it for? And sometimes you just gotta let it do its thing, and sometimes not. Don't know if that answered your question at all, but I think it's interesting the way that it can affect your creative process if you get too deep into social media, for sure. Yeah.
No, it's interesting because, like, I think about some of your band's music videos and it's like hundreds of thousands of views, and that would be so hard to like deal with. Oh, the next one only got like 30,000. Yeah, and then you like zoom out and there's like musicians everywhere that would be like, oh, like I wish I could get that. Yeah, but you're like riding the like, oh, but we did have that, and so like, I don't want to spend my life just like chasing it, because like, what are we doing it for? We're not trying to, like, it doesn't matter how many people watch the video. That's not what we're doing it for. We're doing it for the music, or to like get another show where we get to play live or whatever. It's that perspective, and it's really interesting.
It is, because you can look at that like that, and that's always going to happen, no matter how good it might be. It could be a bunch of different variables about what might make something have less engagement or more. But I mean, it's just, again, just not number chasing is probably the best way you can do it, but also just being aware of what works by doing it more. Again, if you're more authentic to yourself, people are going to be engaged by it more anyway. Like, whatever you think is going to be funny, I'm pretty sure people are going to find funny because there's going to be at least a majority of people who are going to also be in the same wavelength. But if you're trying to do something that people think are going to be funny, there's a lot more weight on that because you might not believe it. So it's the same thing with writing music, releasing music videos or whatever. It's like you'll find that the stuff that's more authentic will probably get more traction, and also you'll actually care about it less because it's like you would have done that anyway.
Yeah, it's genuine.
Yeah. So it's like it doesn't matter if it does good, and then it does good anyway because you didn't care. Rather than you just got to not really think about it as much, really, or let it affect you. But yeah,
I wanted to ask you about your bass because you play like a Leland Sklar style, like star, like with all the
the fan frets.
Yeah, fan frets.
Did I tell you that I met him in LA?
No,
crazy. I know. We met him upstairs because he's an artist of the same company.
Right.
And he was having an interview upstairs, and the guys said come up because we were gonna go shoot something with him. But I was like, hey man, I didn't know enough information about him to be like, be fully like asking questions and really, know a lot of his history, which I felt bad about. But I know like his legend and how much weight is actually behind that guy, and he's played on like over 2,000 songs and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, but that was kind of crazy. Like, yeah, being in LA at NAMM, just seeing so many people like that was just like, what is going on? But it also made everyone super normal because it was like they're just normal people. But
yes, interesting.
Because like Victor Wooten, the bass player Victor Wooten, walked past me, and I didn't stop him because he was in a rush and he was by himself. But I was like, that's Victor Wooten. Like I watched him so much as a kid. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then you go, oh, it's just another human.
Yeah, and then everyone becomes normal. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
It was a really nice thing seeing all these big people like, Thundercats over there and stuff like that. And you're kind of like, oh, these kind of just normal people, I guess. Made it feel like that. Because in Australia, we're so isolated. It's like, it can make everything seem so much bigger. Because it's like, even like, for example, Berkeley is all the way over there.
Yes.
Like in America, it's one of my students is going to do a Berkeley camp, and I'm like, Berkeley base camp. It's like, that's insane. Like I'm like, he's like, oh, I might have to stop lessons, or if we can fit it in, like we can. And I'm like, yeah, dude, we should definitely do that because I want to hear about the base camp.
Yeah,
because I'm all over here. I can't go there like just like that. Like I'm sure it's harder to go there just like that than what I'm kind of explaining now. But it's just like, damn. But I forgot what we're talking about initially.
Well, the star, what did you call it? Sorry?
Oh yeah, the fan fret.
Fan fret.
Yeah, fan frets. They're kind of cool. They actually reached out to us 4 years ago to say they wanted to give us some basses, and I was like, yeah, for sure, we can definitely do it. We just don't want to be exclusive because that's just our deal with everybody. It's just we need to play a bunch of different basses, otherwise it's too limiting. And they did that, and I totally fell in love with it. But it's nothing crazy about the fan frets, but it's a 34-inch scale on the high strings, 37-inch on the low strings, and it just means that the lower string there's going to be more tension because there's more length, and it just means it's going to have a more clear sound in like that low B. Or especially if you're tuning lower, because a lot of people that play those basses might tune down to drop F.
Wow.
Which is low.
Oh,
yeah. Some people do that for sure. They get a bigger string on it, longer scale.
Wow.
That's what those basses are made for.
Yeah, right.
A little bit. But you get completely used to it. Like it just sounds more rich, and I totally resonate with that bass. It's just for some reason I've written so much music on it.
Yeah, interesting.
It really re-sparked like a creative flow for me when I got it.
Wow. So is there just one company that does that fan?
They are like the original ones. Like even when I was at NAMM and I was talking to other bass companies, they're just looking around, and I was like, hey, and I have Dingwall on my badge, and everyone has like a huge respect for like Sheldon Dingwall, who made Dingwall guitars, the basses, because they're like, oh, I don't want to touch you because you're one of Sheldon's guys, kind of vibe. And I was like, oh, okay, everyone doesn't want to mess with everyone. It's very like, it's a very good community. I think everyone's really kind of aware and, not trying to step on each other's toes with, that kind of stuff. But
yes.
I just felt that I was like, everyone's like, oh yeah, Sheldon's like the dude. And I hear bass companies now saying, oh, we're making our version of the Dingwall.
Wow.
So it almost has that legacy of like a P bass or a J bass, a jazz bass. Like it's like people are making now their version of like how they made it of the P bass. They're making their version of the Dingwall, which is crazy, which is just a fan fret.
Yeah.
So a bunch of people are doing that now. They all sound a bit different, obviously, but Dingwall are also making a P bass that's going to be in production, and that thing is insane. It's so good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it sounds like a really modern P bass, but it's really cool. I love it, and I'm definitely getting one when it comes out. But yeah, because I really want a P bass, and then they let me play their P bass, and I was like, oh, okay, give me that, but just relic it up because I want it relicked, and then give it to me. Because it's insane, but yeah, those basses are really cool.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm.
Are there many, like, do you enjoy the change of like one bass for one thing to the next thing? In the variation rather than just having one that's like, oh no, this is my instrument.
Yeah, I think it's never totally felt like that, or maybe it did before I got that Dingwall bass, the fanfare bass, because I didn't really have many basses at that time. But yeah, when you get to play other instruments, you just get a completely different response. Every instrument has its own kind of, it just brings something out in you sometimes, something unique or whatever. Like, yeah, I'm sure you'd understand. Sometimes it just brings a different vibe. It'd be the same thing as like a shirt. Sometimes you're wearing a different shirt and it just brings out a different vibe in you. I don't know, like,
yeah,
maybe sometimes not, but sometimes maybe, yeah. Same kind of thing.
We've been playing this game on the podcast where I get guests to ask questions of the next guest.
Yeah, cool.
But they don't know who the next guest is.
Yeah.
So if you chuck your cans on, I've got a question for you from our previous guest,
okay,
Evan and Glasos.
This is my question. Next guest. Share a time when music has pulled you out of a really difficult place.
Is that something that resonates with you?
Yeah, I think that resonates more with me like in the last few years than ever in my whole life, I think. The music has always been there when I was younger, but it never pulled me out of a certain place. But yeah, some hard stuff happened a few years ago, and I don't know if it's directly related towards that, but I've felt music pull me out of hard places more recently than ever. Just sometimes it just can alleviate all the, whatever it might be, negative feelings or like, whatever emotion you might not want to be feeling or whatever, which is not like how I like to think about emotion, but yeah, more recently it's allowed me to kind of escape. Everyone says that, but I never really fully understood that until more recently.
Yeah, right.
Like, which is so weird because I've done music forever, but yeah, now I'm just like, sometimes it just makes you feel. And I think that's why before I was talking about really just important about how it makes you feel, which is more what I've thought about more recently because I think I just get it more now. Probably just through the struggles and you're just like, yeah, cool. This really takes me somewhere, which is nice for this period of time, whether it's 3 minutes or an hour, Yeah.
Do you get it from the playing or listening or both?
Both. 100% both, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, especially, the 71 shows we played last year, like I had to, I'll be fully transparent with you. When we first went to Europe in 2019, I definitely was still finding myself as a performer, especially as a performer in this band. And I would go up on stage and sometimes I would struggle to really feel present and just kind of there with what's happening. And I find myself getting distracted, thinking about something else. But I made a fully conscious decision since probably like 3 or 4 years ago, in 2020, probably from, the whole period of COVID where, a lot of time to yourself kind of thing, that I was like, I need to get control over like my, how I feel about going on stage and kind of regulating that. And so I have this whole routine now. So when I go on stage, I can really try and feel as present as I can, which is all part of the warm-up routine, which involves muscles and stuff, but it's really just like in breathing, but just to really be there. So like sometimes I go on stage and it totally takes me out of it. And I never had that when I was younger.
Wow.
I just made music for the sake of making music and I never fully connected to the performance aspect. But yeah, in the last few years, listening to music and performing music, I fully now get it, which is a really weird thing to say. But yeah, I didn't get it when I was younger, but now it's like, I feel that.
Yeah. It's interesting that you share that you have like a routine for helping you do that. Because I've been asking quite a few of the guests, like, do you have like a pre-show routine? And the last string of people, like, they've all just said, nah,
Most people
just
don't.
get up and do it. Yeah, so it's really nice to hear like, oh yeah, like I have a deliberate process of, muscle and breathing exercises to get yourself in the zone, I guess.
Literally, yeah. Well, my whole method is that if I'm playing, we're playing 45 shows, and I've been in places in the past where, only sometimes not even half of the shows I'm really there for. I'm kind of somewhere else, and I'm like, where you're doing stuff all day. The whole thing about being on tour is that the whole day is led up and built up to this half an hour, 40 minutes on stage, or an hour. Like it's all built up to that one moment. Everything, what you eat, sound check, every little thing is kind of built up to that being like the peak, I suppose you could say. It doesn't have to be like that, but to some aspect, that's your job for the day. That's it. So it's kind of my responsibility as a performer to be as present and as there as possible for myself and for the audience to kind of like, otherwise, I don't know, it can feel a bit funky. Like it can feel a bit strange. And I actually find that filming yourself on stage helps with this a lot because you get to see how you actually are perceived. And say if you are in your head for a show, you're like, oh, I keep stuffing up. I'm not feeling like in the pocket today or something like that, which happens, especially if you're playing that many shows back to back to back. And then you see it and then you're like, oh, or that lighting guy would video and he'll be like, you guys look sick. And you'll look at yourself on stage in this massive production. You're like, oh, yeah, this looks great. Like, and it honestly can alleviate that feeling like a lot if you're feeling that a little bit. But if you don't alleviate that, sometimes then it can just nag there for a second.
Yes.
It's just a good, I should film like every show just for archiving. But I don't do that out of intention, but I've noticed that kind of like, oh, I was fine. And then all of a sudden I'm not worrying about how in my head I was, because the only reason why I'm worried about that is because how it translates to the audience, that playing for the first time in Denver, like I want to be there for them. Like it's a huge thing, but you're exhausted. You got like 2 hours sleep or something and you didn't eat well, or no, I always eat well in tour, but that's a huge thing for me. But that along with like a 20 minute warm up routine to breathe and do muscle warm ups to physically feel good, mentally feel good. Yeah, totally do that. I just have to. Just me. I would say my boys do that. Like the other two guys in the band, they have their own thing. They could maybe define it, but I think it's much less specific than mine.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a sportsman when you're like...
It's a little bit like that.
Yeah, laying it all out like that.
100%. I tell my students this as well because it's the same as when you're practicing, but the main thing is that it involves like active warm-ups, not static warm-ups. Like you get the blood flowing around your body and it's just like so you can go on stage feeling excited as well. Like, so if there is blood flowing, you're going to be more warmed up to play, but also just going to have a bit more adrenaline even if you're not. I don't know. No, it just helps me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, what question would you like to ask our next guest?
Let me think. I'm just waiting for it to appear in my brain without trying to think about it. I'm curious if it's just going to hit me. I'll start saying something and this is going to be it, okay?
Sure.
I don't know what it's going to be yet.
Cool. I'm excited.
This is how I write music, so this is good. What? This is not going to work. In what point in your life, or if there was or wasn't a point in your life that you knew that playing music or making music or being a performer was like what you wanted to do as your thing in your life? You know, whether you knew that was going to be for the whole life or like part of it, just when did that happen?
That's a good question. I feel like you thought about it more than it just came to you though.
It totally came to me out of nowhere. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, cool.
No. I had nothing. I love doing that. Sometimes like nothing's there.
That's awesome. And that's really how you write. Like you'll sit down with the bass and just like wait for the inspiration to strike.
I don't know. Sometimes it's there. Sometimes it's not. I don't know. Sometimes I'm confident enough in my abilities to produce now that if you sat down with any idea, I could still get something that I kind of like just by kind of going over it.
Sure.
I guess it's the same with a feeling. and that's how I describe it to my students. It's a feeling of like, if you're feeling anxious, you might not be able to write something that's super, uplifting. You might, but you might not. Like, don't just look at it as being this uplifting thing. If you just sit down with any idea and feel it out, then it's going to be most authentic, and you're not going to have a writer's block of like, oh, but I wanted it to be, like a hyper indie song that was really like surfy or something, which is not something that I've ever tried to write, but like there's no expectation of that. And sometimes that helps, but like there's no expectation of like, oh, I want it to be like this is the main thing. It's the same as like whatever you're feeling like. I think that's a strength of mine, but yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'll finish with 5 short answer questions.
Okay.
What is your favorite venue to play in Melbourne?
I think I want to play the Forum. I don't know if there's another question, but I want to play the Forum. I haven't played the Forum. I played the Croxton lots. Croxton is good.
The Croxton is good.
I mean, it's a very low ceiling, so you can't get like this full picture show, but it's always been a good vibe at the Croxton. So Croxton's good.
Do you always do like the big show regardless of the size of room you play?
Like production?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have done that for like quite a few years now, since
Cool.
2020, I think. We've done like, we usually have like some lights set up and stuff, like, even like in the Workers Club, like we have like a floor package. We have like a synced show and stuff because, again, no vocals, so you really have to direct people's focus onto what's actually happening, because otherwise you don't know where to look sometimes, which is actually kind of an opposite approach to someone like Wolfpack. When I saw them play in New York, and they have their production value is, they look sick, but like the lights are doing nothing.
Yes.
It's super like, it's like a jazz gig. You're just here to see them play, which is the opposite of what we kind of have, been kind of working on and doing with our shows, which is so interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's very, musician based. It's very like, everyone here is like most likely a musician, or most of them are. But yeah, we usually go the full like, make it the best show that we can, whatever way we can.
Yeah, sick. Yeah, my next question is, what would be your dream venue to play at? So in Melbourne, the Forum.
Yeah, the Forum. I mean, I could say somewhere huge. Like, obviously, it'd be crazy. Probably dream venue would be Rod Laver, just because that was my first concert with Foo Fighters.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So every time I see a band there, I still get the same feeling.
Cool.
I'm like, oh, like, it started here. 100%.
Wow.
Yeah. 100% started there. So it's still just a bit of that, even though it's kind of cliche, but like, did.
That's cool. Now that you've been to like Europe and America, are there any like standout venues that you loved from the last tour?
There's a bunch of sick ones. Like the one in LA was sick. Just a huge, gorgeous, like old theater.
Oh yeah, what was it called? Do you remember?
The Belasco.
Oh wow.
Or maybe the Belasco. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know of that venue?
I do.
Cool. Yeah, that venue. Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Wow.
Yeah. That was cool. I can't think of any others right now, but there was a bunch of really cool ones. Like even Denver was really sick. I think that was the Gothic Theatre in Denver, again, another theatre. There was a bunch of theatres on that tour. Some of them were small, like shows, but there was a bunch of theatres that were sick. Just theatre's always cool because it's big.
Yeah.
It's usually multi-level and stuff, but yeah.
Okay, next question. What is your coffee order?
Okay, in America, it is a vanilla latte oat milk with I already said vanilla. That's it. Wait, a vanilla latte with oat milk. I'm sorry. I always stuff it up because it's changed over like the last 2 years. But now it's like also a black coffee, which is crazy to me. I feel old now because I've never ever liked black coffee until 3 months ago.
Interesting.
Which either means I hate myself. I don't know if you drink black coffee, but that's just what people say. It's great. It just feels like my taste buds like, oh, you like this now. I'm like, damn, man. I used to hate that.
All right, favorite place to get food after a gig in Melbourne?
Just a kebab will do. Kebab will be fine. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite? Like there's a spot on a corner that is your guy?
Nah, I'm out from the hills, so I'm not like around places I go to. Nah, just any kebab will do.
Nice.
Yeah, or chips or something like that. Yeah.
All right. Finally, what is one piece of advice that you would give to your younger self?
I could probably still give it to my current self, but I guess know that the intuition that you feel is correct in writing music and in what you think is right. That's definitely to my younger self and current self, like right now. Yeah. Which is weird, but maybe.
No, I don't think so. Yeah. Oh, thanks for sharing.
That's cool. Thanks, man.
And it's like, it's such a privilege to catch up with you. You're doing amazing things. And yeah, it's really nice to, get the chance to like hear a bit more about like your journey to get there and the different things you're thinking about. So thanks so much for being generous and coming on the podcast and catching up with me.
Dude, no, absolutely. So great to see you. And it's good to chat stuff. It's cool to think about that stuff, but dude, great to see you and chat. Like, so interesting to me, honestly. Just all the stuff we've talked about.
Can I ask about your nails?
Yeah.
To put the TikTok crowd at ease. Is it because of Hendrik from Dirty Loops?
I met him.
At NAMM?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know he was the first person I had to play bass in front of.
Oh.
And he follows me on Instagram, and sometimes he's in my stories, and I'm like, that's insane to me. That blows my mind. We're playing a festival with them in Europe, and it's just like the craziest thing. 'Cause I'm like,
wow.
He's super nice, but no, I don't know. I just started doing it. I think a girl I was seeing painted my nails, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm just going to keep painting my nails.
Nice.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Hendrik's crazy.
Wow. It just shows, you're a super humble bass player, but that's the level that you're on. You're playing gigs with these guys. You're at NAMM doing shows with them. And now you're followers on Instagram.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think I posted a photo of my girlfriend the other day, and there's all these these are like 5 of the drummers of 5 of my favorite bands that are just saying this. It's just so silly. Anyway, same kind of thing. I don't know if Hendrix saw it, but yeah, he's sick. I'm very keen to see them actually play because we just saw them at the booth. But
okay, yep.
Yeah, I played his bass in front of him, which is the first thing I did when I walked into NAMM. Because my friend Jacob was there and he knew Henrik, and we just went there and he was just there and we were just like, oh crap.
Wow.
Yeah, but he has the same size hands.
Really?
Yeah, I've got a photo and it's of my friend Jacob, my hands, Charles Bertu, who's like this big YouTuber bass player. He's got like almost 2 million subscribers.
Whoa. Who's
a good friend, and Henrik, and we all have the exact same size hands.
Really?
And all of them shred. And so it puts the whole thing where people are like, oh, but like I don't have big hands, I'm not good at bass.
Wow.
I'm like, these are all three monster players, and then we've all got the same size hands.
That's wild.
Yeah. Anyway, weird tangent, but yeah.
Oh, no, so cool. All right, I should let you go because this has been really fun. So,
yeah, hell yeah, man.
I'll have to do it again once you've put out the next album and check in.
It comes out in like 2 days. Wait,
in 2 days? Okay.
3 days.
This podcast is not coming out for a long time.
Okay.
Because you're episode 46, I think.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Okay, so like 6 or 8 months ago or something, Toby released an album. And it's going like really well. So many people streaming it and buying it, and
I bought a new house from the money from it. I don't drive a Kia Rio anymore. I drive a Land Rover. Is that
interesting?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a weird choice for me to say Land Rover, but I just think that's a good tier. Doesn't the king drive a Land Rover? That's what the royal family drive around in.
Is it?
Yeah, they just have Land Rovers.
Aren't they Range Rovers?
Is Land Rover a type of Range Rover?
No, Range Rover is like the No, Range Rover is like, isn't Range Rover the fancy one?
Okay.
And Land Rover is the like Defender, Land Rover Defender, Land Rover Discovery.
I'm gonna say maybe.
This is descended into like car chat, which
I don't even know cars. How did I do this? Anyway.
All right, I might cut some car chat. But the key is there's music out already. Yeah. It's going super well. I'll get you to text me a photo of you with your fancy car that you've bought with all of the record sales, and we can chuck that up. So last thing, I put a bunch of stuff up on our website with like links to your stuff, because then it's really easy for everybody just to click on the link and it sends them straight to your stuff. but it's nice to hear it from your mouth. Where would you like people to go to get in contact with you for lessons, your Patreon, and check out music from yourself and the band?
Probably just hop over to Instagram and type up my name, or go on to YouTube and search up our music, or Spotify. That's really the main stuff. Don't go to TikTok. It's not TikTok.
Okay.
No, you can go to TikTok. It's just shit posting. Anyway.
Do students have to be fans of your band, or do you go beyond like extreme pinch harmonics and slap thumping?
No, whatever level. Always whatever level. Happy to teach anybody at wherever they're at, always. 6
strings only?
Nah. Some of my students have 6 strings, then I have to get mine out. I'm like, you're making me have to play this beast. I don't like playing it. It's too big.
All right, thanks, Toby. This has been really fun.
Thank you so much, man.
Thanks for joining us on Our Drummers Musicians. I hope you enjoyed diving into the world of another musician as much as I did. Help us grow by leaving a review and sharing the podcast with your friends, family, favourite artist, or anyone else who might enjoy it. For more info and updates, visit ourdrummersmusicians.com. See you next time.